With summer nearly here in Toronto, community leaders are worried that diminishing funds for youth programs are going to lead to another rise in violence in troubled communities. In 2005, Toronto saw an unprecedented rise in gun violence, with 52 of 78 homicides in Toronto involving firearms. It was dubbed the Year of the Gun. Major funds sprung up that year to support Toronto's poor and underserviced neighborhoods. Communities like this at Jane and Finch use those funds to start programs supporting at-risk youth. But most of these temporary funds dried up this spring, and progress made is being undercut. Summer is fast approaching, and those that work with at-risk youth are worried about more lost lives and lost opportunities.
They're going to call it the summer of the war. It's not going to be guns anymore. It's going to be cannons. It's going to be bombs. I think when you have something that's so positive that was working and you just take it away, there's always an impact.
Clayton co-founded a basketball mentorship and literacy program in 2006 at Jane and Finch called Recognize the Real. The program was started as part of the Youth Challenge Fund, created in reaction to the shootings in 2005 that coincided with high rates of youth violence, unemployment, school dropouts, and drop-offs in recreation. Youth-centered programs in Toronto's 13 priority neighborhoods were started from the funds. Now, the one-time pool of funding is gone, but the organizations formed still see the need.
The need for this program is important because of the fact that it engages street, hard-to-serve youth. And even if you're not street involved or hard to serve, you're still being engaged in a positive way. Whereas if you're out in the street or the local store or your block or your building staircase, you're probably being mentored by individuals who don't have any positive aspirations, right? So it's really important because I think it keeps the violence down in the city. And for the 3 hours that they're here, they're learning a skill, a life skill that they can use in society.
Francis is one of the young men who loves going to Recognize the Real.
It's fun, and you happy to meet people, friends, good friends, and basically, the coach is a very nice, cool, and so that's why I love the program. It's a good program. It's like basically part of my life.
At a youth center in the Keelsdale neighborhood, the executive director tells us that short-term funding has long-term negative impacts.
When it's a short-term project, by the time they actually begin to respect and trust you, you're on your way out. And that sense of, you see, I shouldn't have trusted him or her. That sense of hopelessness, that sense of isolation then creeps back in. And then it becomes even tougher for young people to trust somebody else.
Back to the crew world.
One youth who's benefiting from FYI services is musician Chris Gale, aka Davy Jones. He says without programs like these, youth are lost.
These kids now grow up with their father going to work at 9 o'clock till the morning, and their mother coming home when they're just about to go to sleep, to go to school. So half the time in the day, they're at home by themselves. So when they come to these places, they're expecting to feel comfort. If there's no comfort, they're just going to feel distraught and stagnant. So they're just going to wander. And that's what usually happens. It's happened to me before, so I know.
Toronto Mayor Rob Ford has voted against funding for at-risk youth, calling them hug-a-thug programs. Meanwhile, the federal government has slashed funding for youth justice programs across Canada. The provincial government continues to fund some programs, but no investment on the scale of the Youth Challenge Fund. However, Ontario's new Premier, Kathleen Wynne, created a Council on Youth Opportunities a month after she was sworn in this year. Lee Can is the chair.
The mandate is pretty broad, but I think there's an opportunity for transformation through this mandate. We are responsible as a council to ensure that to ensure the development of the youth strategy, the provincial youth strategy. This is groundbreaking.
While there are efforts at Queen's Park and on the streets of Toronto to stem youth violence, until there is long-term sustained funding, the city's young people will continue to be victimized. By investing in our youth, we have the hope for the success of the next generation.
Feeling the levitation, feeling I'm levitating. Tell me to dumb it down. I'm roaring different sounds. First and last name, it be that Davy Jones. Hail from T.O. and that's Toronto. I'm repping Canada and then the world, yo. TF, vintage life to the next show. Go. Green light when we pass, go.
This is Diane Ruiz for the Real News Network.